Hey, what's up coin lovers? Do you have a dusty old jar of change lying around? Maybe it's just a bunch of pennies, and you're thinking, why bother? Well, I'm here to tell you, hold up. That one little penny you've been ignoring could actually be worth more than your lunch money, or, in some cases, way more. And today, we're talking about the 1952 Lincoln penny. You know, the one that's got some serious coin collectors buzzing. A lot of people are sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. I'm talking about a penny that could fetch up to $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.7 million. I know what you're thinking, is this guy for real? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to show you why you might want to dig through your spare change before it's too late. Let's get into it. So, let's break it down. The 1952 Lincoln penny, what's the deal? Well, it all comes down to two key things, the mint mark and the rarity. I know, mint marks sound like something only your grandma talks about when she's showing off her old coins to you, but trust me, they matter. Mint marks are those little letters on your coins that tell you where they were made. For example, the S on the 1952 penny means it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. This mint wasn't cranking out as many pennies as the others, so fewer of these little guys ended up in circulation. And that, my friends, is what makes the 1952 Lincoln penny special. And you're probably asking, why should I care about this penny in particular? Well, here's the thing, the 1952 isn't like your average penny. It's actually a highly collectible coin. As time goes on, the number of these pennies still floating around in circulation is shrinking, and that boosts their value. Some 1952 pennies are in super rare condition, like uncirculated or even MS-65 grade, which can skyrocket the price. We're talking about up to $1.7 million if you've got one of these beauties sitting in your drawer. And don't worry, you don't need to be a coin expert to know if you've got one of these hidden treasures. I'm here to walk you through the process, so don't go spending your 1952 penny just yet. Okay, time for a little side story. When I first got into collecting, I found myself at a yard sale, pawing through a box of random junk. There was this lady, a grandma type, who had a little jar of pennies. She told me, yeah, they've been sitting around for years. Take M for $1. I thought to myself, $1 for all these pennies? Yeah, I'm down. Fast forward to me sitting at home, flipping through the pennies. Suddenly, I hit the jackpot. A 1952 caught my eye. I thought, wait, is this the one? I looked it up, and boom. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the rare ones, potentially worth thousands, even $1 million. I was freaking out. Turns out, I didn't have a $1.7 million penny, but I did have one that was worth quite a bit more than the measly buck I spent on it. Moral of the story? Never underestimate old pennies. You could be sitting on a small fortune. So, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1952 penny is valuable? Well, it comes down to a few key factors. Condition, this is huge. A coin in great condition, like shiny, almost new condition, is worth a lot more than one that's all banged up. If you've got a 1952 with barely any wear, that's a good start. Minting errors. Sometimes, coins have flaws from the minting process, which can make them worth way more than their regular counterparts. Look for anything that stands out, like double dies or misprints. Rarity. The more limited the number of coins made, the more valuable they are. And since the 1952 was produced in smaller numbers than other pennies, this increases its value. Grade, the higher the grade of your coin, the higher the price it can fetch. Coin grading can be a bit technical, but basically, the higher the grade, the more money you could make from selling your penny. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are the experts in this field. What should you do next? Now, let's get down to what you should do with your 1952 penny, or any other valuable coins you come across. Don't just spend it like it's your next trip to the vending machine. First, give it a good look. Check its condition, make sure it's not too beat up. If you're really feeling adventurous, get it graded by a professional. A graded coin can sometimes bring in a lot more money, especially if it's in mint condition. But also, here's a pro tip: if you're not sure, don't be afraid to take it to a coin shop or an expert to get it appraised. It's like calling in the pros when you've got an old car in your garage that you're not sure is a classic. So, there you have it. The 1952 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of history, it could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you've got one of these in good condition, you might want to give it a second look. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about the money, it's about appreciating the history and the story each coin tells. Before I go, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, because I've got tons more tips on rare coins that could make you rich. Stay tuned for more fun and valuable coin stories, and if you find anything interesting in your own coin collection, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your finds. Keep on hunting those rare pennies, and remember, the next treasure might just be hiding in your change jar. Hey there, coin lovers. I'm sure you've heard people talk about pennies and how they're just a bunch of copper or zinc sitting in your pocket, but guess what? Some pennies can be worth more than a whole lot of us. And today, we're diving into one that is worth a pretty penny, pun intended. That's right, I'm talking about the 1960 Lincoln penny. Stick around because by the end of this video, you're going to look at that little copper coin sitting in your change jar in a whole new light. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth how much? Well, buckle up, my friend, because this isn't just your average penny. This one is sitting on a cool $1.8 million market value, and no, I didn't just make that up to get you to watch the video. We'll break it down, so you can spot this treasure before it vanishes into someone else's pocket. Alright, let's first address the elephant in the room. A penny? Worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right. And it all comes down to a little detail that you might overlook if you're not paying attention. The D mint mark. But more on that in a second. First, let's dive into why this specific coin is so valuable. So, picture this, it's 1960. John F. Kennedy is still a few months away from becoming president, and everyone's rocking poodle skirts and greasers are ruling the streets. The 1960 Lincoln penny was just another coin getting circulated, a shiny little copper beauty, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, as always. But here's the kicker. The 1960 penny, in all its minty glory, was struck in Denver, Colorado, and it has a couple of traits that make it unique. At first glance, it might seem like any other penny, but collectors noticed that there was a major error, an error that makes it a prize for numismatists. That's a fancy term for coin collectors. For those of you who don't have that word on their vocabulary lists, what makes the 1960 so special is that during its minting process, some of the coins were struck with a large date die, while others were struck with a small date die. If you happen to find one with the large date, well, congratulations. You've stumbled upon a coin that can fetch around $1.8 million. I mean, who would have thought that a penny, the one coin you toss around without a second thought, could suddenly be the golden goose of your coin collection? So now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these valuable pennies in my collection? Easy. You want to examine the date on the coin. The key difference between the large and small date version is, well, the size of the numbers. The large date has a thicker, more spaced out 9 and 0, while the small date has slightly smaller numbers, kind of like when you write a note in your best handwriting on a test and then your teacher asks for a legible version, and your handwriting shrinks to fit. So, check that date, and if you've got the larger version, you're in for a treat. Now, it's not just about the mint mark and the date size. The condition of your coin plays a huge role in determining its value. If your 1960 penny is pristine, like the kind of condition that makes you think it just came out of the mint yesterday, then you've got yourself a real prize. But don't worry if your penny's not in perfect shape. Some collectors still shell out big bucks for a coin with a little wear and tear, especially if it's an error coin. Think of it like finding an old, worn-out toy from your childhood that still has value because it's rare or discontinued. In the world of coins, rare beats perfect, and I know some of you are thinking, I've got a jar full of pennies at home. Does that mean I've got a fortune waiting to be discovered? Well, maybe. But here's where the real story comes in. I've had my own penny hoarding phase. One day, I decided to go through my jar of pennies, yeah, the same jar I had been tossing loose change into for years, and lo and behold, I found a coin that wasn't like the rest. It wasn't a 1960D, but it had a mint mark that made me sit up straight. I was excited, Googling away, thinking I was about to retire early with my newfound fortune. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But that's the fun part about collecting coins, sometimes you strike gold, and sometimes it's just about learning along the way. And that's what I want for you. Whether you're in it for the money or simply enjoying the hobby, there's something truly satisfying about finding a coin with history and value. So, there you have it. The 1960D Lincoln penny is a hidden gem in the world of coin collecting, and if you find one with the large date, you might just have a little treasure on your hands worth up to $1.8 million. But hey, even if you don't have that exact coin, don't give up on your coin-searching dreams. There are plenty of other pennies and coins out there that could make you a small fortune. Before you go running off to dig through your pockets or coin jars, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can keep up with all the tips and tricks I've got for you. Trust me, there's more where this came from, and you won't want to miss out on the next coin that's worth a lot more than you think. Remember, keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? The next treasure might just be sitting in your spare change. Hey there, coin collectors and penny hunters. You ever been digging through some old change and found something that made you say, wait a second, could this be worth something? Well, today, I've got a doozy for you. We're talking about the elusive, mysterious, and potentially very profitable 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy isn't just another piece of copper, it's got a value that'll make your jaw drop. It's currently worth up to $1.60 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth more than most people's cars. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be running to your coin jar to see if you've got one of these rare beauties tucked away. Now, let's break it down. The 1966 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that doesn't look all that different at first glance. I mean, it's still just your classic Lincoln design, Honest Abe's face staring back at you, looking as stoic as ever. But here's the catch, if you know what to look for, this penny could be sitting on a gold mine. So, why is the 1966 no mint mark penny worth such an insane amount of cash? Well, for starters, let's talk about how it was minted. You see, all pennies made in the United States are supposed to have a mint mark to show where they were produced. There's the D for Denver, the S for San Francisco, and of course, no mint mark, which is usually reserved for Philadelphia. However, in 1966, something strange happened. The minting process at the Philadelphia Mint produced a small batch of these pennies without the usual P mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so it's a mistake coin. Big deal, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Mistakes like this are actually extremely rare, and when it comes to coin collecting, rarity equals value. And in the case of the 1966 no mint mark penny, we're talking a serious amount of rarity. But here's the kicker, these pennies aren't just rare, they're also tied to a very specific moment in history. In 1966, the US Mint was dealing with a lot of pressure. They had to produce millions of pennies every year, and one small mistake could slip through the cracks, leaving behind a coin that would become one of the most sought-after pennies of all time. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how can I spot one of these gems? Well, it's not as hard as you might think. First off, check the date. If you've got a 1966 penny, that's the first step. Then, look for the absence of a mint mark. If you see nothing after 1966, you might be holding on to something with some serious value. It's that easy. The 1966 no mint mark penny could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered by an eagle-eyed collector like yourself. Okay, but here's the fun part: how much is it really worth? Let's talk money. The current market value of a 1966 no mint mark penny can go as high as $1.60 million. Let me repeat that, $1.6 million. That's like winning the lottery without even buying a ticket. But, of course, not every 1966 penny without a mint mark is going to fetch that kind of cash. The condition of the penny is key. If your penny is in mint condition, that's where the real value lies. You're going to want a penny that's free from wear and tear. If it's been bounced around in your pocket for decades, you might not be looking at that $1 million payday. But if it's in pristine condition, with crisp details and minimal wear, then you might just have a hidden treasure. In fact, pennies in excellent condition have been known to sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some collectors are willing to pay big bucks just for the chance to own a piece of history. Now, I've got to be honest with you, finding one of these is no easy task. In fact, I actually have a funny story about my own hunt for rare coins. A couple of years ago, I was going through my change jar, hoping to find something that could make me a millionaire. I stumbled across a penny from 1966, and I thought, hey, this could be it. This is the one that's going to make me rich. I took it to a local coin shop, all excited, only to be told that it was just a regular old penny. I was crushed. But you know what? It was a good learning experience. And I didn't give up. I'm still hunting for that elusive, rare find. Now, I want you to think about this. What would you do if you found a penny worth $1 million? I'm not talking about just any old penny, I mean a 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny. What would be your first move? Would you cash in, or would you hold on to it as a prized possession? Imagine the possibilities. So, what's the takeaway here? Keep your eyes peeled, folks. That 1966 penny you've got lying around in your change jar might just be the jackpot you've been waiting for. And hey, if you don't find one, don't worry. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures, and there's always a new opportunity around the corner. Plus, there's something pretty cool about learning the stories behind these little pieces of history. Before you go, if you found this video helpful or even just a little bit fun, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks about finding coins that could be worth big money. I've got plenty of juicy tips for you, and you never know, your next coin could be worth a fortune. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and keep on hunting for those hidden treasures. Catch you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment telling me about any rare coins you found or are hoping to find. And, hey, if you liked this video, share it with your friends, just in case they've got a secret stash of rare pennies sitting around. You could make their day. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds alike. Have you ever wondered if that old penny in your pocket could be worth more than just its 1 cent? Well, if you've got a 1973 Lincoln penny, you might just have a gold mine on your hands, or should I say, a copper mine. Because today, we're diving into one of the most surprising treasures to ever come from the mint, the 1973 Lincoln penny, which could be worth a whopping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million, not just a few extra pennies, but wait. Before you go digging through every jar and drawer in your house for this little gem, let's break it down and see why this penny is so special. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. First, let's get the basics out of the way. The 1973 Lincoln penny is a part of the iconic series that's been around since 1909, yeah, that Abraham Lincoln, the guy on the $5 bill. But what sets the 1973 penny apart from the billions of others that were minted that year? Well, it's not just any regular penny, it's a rare variant with a mint mark from the Denver Mint, hence the D after 1973. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, it's got a D, so what? And fair question. After all, they made tons of pennies that year, right? But here's where things get interesting. While the 1973 D penny might look like just another copper coin to the untrained eye, there are a handful of them out there with an incredible backstory. See, some of these pennies were minted with slightly off-center impressions, making them rarer than your aunt's famous lasagna recipe. These error coins, especially those with unique flaws or limited production, can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, and it's not just the minting mistake that makes these pennies valuable. The overall market for rare coins, especially those with historical significance or interesting errors, has been exploding in recent years. This makes our 1973 D penny, particularly in mint condition, worth a lot more than your average change. Here's where it gets crazy. While a normal 1973 D penny might be worth, well, a penny, the rare and high-quality versions, especially those with imperfections, can fetch up to a staggering $1.5 million. That's right, the $1.5 million isn't just a pie-in-the-sky number. It's a real, current market value for the best examples of this coin. Now, of course, most of us aren't going to find a perfectly flawless 1973 D penny that's going to make us rich overnight. But if you've got one that's been passed down from your grandma or chilling in your coin jar, it might be time to dust it off and take a closer look, but don't go rushing to eBay just yet. It's important to remember that the value is really dependent on factors like condition, rarity, and whether it's an error coin. Coins that are in mint condition, with no scratches, dents, or corrosion, are the ones that can really get you top dollar. Speaking of treasure hunting, let me tell you a little story. I remember when I first got into coin collecting, I was probably around 12, rummaging through the change jar at my mom's house like a mini Indiana Jones. You know how every family has that one jar with spare change that's just been sitting there forever? Yeah, that one. So, there I was, sorting through pennies, nickels, dimes, and even a few old foreign coins. Suddenly, I came across this penny that looked, well, a little different. It had a dull shine to it, and the D looked a bit off. Fast forward to me doing some research on online forums, thank you, internet, and I found out that I had a 1969 S penny with a rare error. I was pumped, thinking I'd struck gold. It wasn't worth $1 million, but it did end up being worth a pretty nice sum compared to your regular penny. The point is, you never know what might be hiding in your pockets, and the 1973 D Lincoln penny could be that unexpected treasure. So, even if it doesn't have that $1 million error, you never know, you might be sitting on a gold mine and not even realize it. Or a copper mine, in this case. How to spot a valuable 1973 D Lincoln penny. Okay, enough about my coin hunting adventures. Let's get down to the practical stuff. How do you spot a valuable 1973 D Lincoln penny? Look for the mint mark. It's easy. Just check the back of the penny near the bottom for the D. That's your signal that it was minted in Denver. If it's a 1973 penny without a mint mark, it's from the Philadelphia Mint, which isn't quite as valuable. Inspect for errors. Error coins are where the magic happens. Look for things like off-center strikes, double dies, or any noticeable flaws in the design. The more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin could be. Check the condition. As with any collectible, condition matters. A penny with visible wear, scratches, or discoloration won't fetch as much as one in near-perfect condition. Get it appraised. If you think you've got a potential goldmine, it's worth taking your coin to a professional appraiser. They can help you determine its true value and help guide you if you decide to sell. So there you have it, your 1973 D Lincoln penny might just be worth a small fortune. Whether it's a mint condition beauty or an error coin with some interesting quirks, this little penny has the potential to make your collection more valuable than you ever thought possible. Before you start rushing to check every penny you own, remember, it's all about being in the right place at the right time. But hey, just like I found my lucky 1969 S penny, you never know when you could find the next big one. If you're into coins and want more tips on which ones are worth a ton, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the coin secrets we've got in store for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep hunting for those hidden treasures, and remember, even pennies can turn into big bucks. Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and casual collectors. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, maybe while waiting for your coffee order, and suddenly, you spot an ordinary-looking penny. Or is it? What if I told you that one of these seemingly ordinary 1976 Lincoln pennies, yes, the ones you might have dropped into a tip jar, could actually be worth $1.1 million? That's right, folks, a humble penny packing a millionaire punch. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll talk about its history, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one that might change your life. Plus, I've got a hilarious personal story to share about how I nearly threw away a coin that turned out to be worth, well, let's just say a lot more than a penny. Grab a snack, sit back, and let's get rich, or at least well informed. First, let's set the stage. The 1976 Lincoln penny isn't your average coin. This one was minted to commemorate the U.S. bicentennial, a big deal for American history. Now, normally, coins have a little letter indicating where they were minted, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for Philadelphia, but here's where it gets interesting. In 1976, a batch of no mint mark pennies was struck with a special twist. These weren't your everyday coins. Due to some minting quirks, errors, and pure luck, a few of these pennies turned out to be incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Okay, let's get to the million-dollar question, literally. Why is a penny, a single cent, worth more than a luxury sports car? It all comes down to rarity and condition. The 1976 no-mint mark penny that fetched $1.1 million at auction was in pristine condition, graded MS 69 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. For context, MS 70 is a flawless coin, so this one was nearly perfect. Also, there's a unique error that collectors drool over, a slight doubling on the date or the phrase, "In God We Trust." So, next time you squint at a penny, you're not crazy, you're being a savvy coin hunter. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost tossed a fortune. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old jar of coins, one of those big pickled jars everyone has somewhere in their house. I came across a 1976 penny and thought, it's just a penny. But then, something made me pause. The penny looked shinier than usual, and the edges were razor sharp. I decided to Google it, and what I found made my heart race. It wasn't the million-dollar coin, but it was worth $500. I nearly chucked $500 into the Coinstar machine. Lesson learned, always double-check your change. So, how can you strike gold, or copper, in this case? Here are a few pro tips. Check your change, always inspect your pennies. Don't just glance at them, really look for errors, doubling, weird marks, or anything unusual can make a penny skyrocket in value. Keep it in good condition. If you find something promising, don't toss it in a drawer. Store it in a protective case. Get it graded. If you think you've hit the jackpot, send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Honestly, the thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so addictive. It's like being a treasure hunter but without the pirate ships. Plus, you never know, your next grocery run could uncover a coin worth more than your CAR.SO. There you have it, the story of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and how it went from spare change to a life-changing fortune. Remember, the key is to keep your eyes peeled, your coins protected, and your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And hey, hit that subscribe button while you're at it. I've got plenty more tips and stories about coins worth big money coming your way. And before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Or, are you just now realizing your old coin jar might be a gold mine? Thanks for watching, and remember, your pocket change could be priceless. Host, hey, coin lovers. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever stared at your change jar and thought, what if I'm sitting on a gold mine? Well, guess what? Today we're talking about a coin that could have you grinning all the way to the bank. That's right, folks, today, we're diving into the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And let me tell you, this little copper disc isn't just a penny. It's a true treasure with a market value of a whopping $1.4 million. No joke. You might want to grab that jar of pennies and start sorting through it right now. Host, you heard that right. A penny. No, it's not a typo. This tiny little thing could be worth more than the car you drive or the TV you binge-watch your favorite shows on. So, stay tuned because I'm about to tell you why this seemingly ordinary penny is anything but, and how you might have one hiding in your collection without even realizing it. Host, alright, let's break it down. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, it's the stuff of coin collector legends. Now, before you start digging through your piggy bank with wild-eyed optimism, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so special. You see, most pennies minted in the 1970s came from either the Denver or Philadelphia mints, and they proudly sport their mint marks. But the 1978 no-mint mark? Well, that one is a bit of a mystery. The coin came out of the Philadelphia mint, but for some reason, it didn't have the usual P mint mark. Host, now, before you start thinking, wait a second, no mint mark. Is this a mistake? You'd be right. It was an error, but a beautiful one at that. See, in the world of coins, an error like this is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of regular clovers. It's rare, it's special, and collectors will pay top dollar to get their hands on it. Host, let's be real for a second. I've had some wild experiences with coins myself. I remember once finding a 1970s coin in my change, and I was convinced it was rare, only to find out it was just a regular old penny that had been through the washing machine a few too many times. But this 1978 no mint mark? It's a whole different level of awesome. Host, now, let's talk about why this penny could fetch such a jaw-dropping price of $1.4 million. The market for rare coins is nuts, folks. And collectors are all about those unique pieces that tell a story, like this one. The 1978 no-mint mark penny stands out because, well, it shouldn't exist. The Philadelphia Mint was supposed to stamp it with a P, but for some reason, it didn't. And that mistake made it super valuable. That error? It's a symbol of rarity and the kind of thing that gets collectors in a frenzy. Host, but wait, not every 1978 penny is going to get you a house or a yacht. The value of this penny depends on its condition. It's gotta be in mint condition, no scratches, no dings, and definitely no signs of it being tossed around in your pocket for years. You want one of these bad boys to look as fresh as it did the day it was struck, preferably locked up in a nice display case, because trust me, once you find one, you're not gonna want to let it go. Host, so, how can you spot a 1978 no mint mark penny? First, look at the date. Obviously, it's gotta be 1978. But then, check the reverse side where the mint mark should be. You'll see nothing. Zip. Nada. A perfect blank space. And that, my friend, is what makes this penny so valuable. If you find one, don't just toss it back in the jar thinking it's just another penny. Hold on to it, because that little mistake could be your ticket to something seriously awesome. Host, I actually had a similar moment myself. A few years ago, I stumbled across a regular penny, and I almost tossed it into the coin jar. But something told me to take a closer look. Turns out, it was a 1955 double-die Lincoln penny, a huge find. The lesson here? You never know when you're going to come across a hidden gem. And that's why, when it comes to coins, it's always worth taking a second look. Host, so, here's the bottom line. If you've got a 1978 penny with no mint mark, you might just have a $1.4 million coin on your hands. But remember, condition is key, so don't go tossing it around like a regular penny. Take care of it, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll be the one laughing all the way to the bank. Host, and hey, if you love learning about hidden treasures like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I've got more tips and tricks for you on coins worth money. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next gem I uncover. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, always check your change. Who knows what might be hiding in your pocket? Hey there, coin lovers. You know, sometimes I feel like a treasure hunter, but instead of a map leading me to gold, I'm hunting down those little pennies that are hiding big secrets. I mean, who would have thought a tiny penny could be worth over $1,000? But guess what? There's a 1981 Lincoln penny without a mint mark that's currently worth $1.3 million. And if you're like, wait, no mint mark? What's that about? Stick around, because we're about to break it down and maybe, just maybe, you'll be sitting on a small fortune in your coin jar. Now, before you start rummaging through your coin collection like a mad scientist, let's talk about why this 1981 Lincoln penny is so special. So, here's the scoop: most of us are used to seeing pennies with a mint mark, like a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But every now and then, a penny slips through the cracks, literally. The 1981 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is one of those rare and mysterious coins. It was struck in Philadelphia, but somehow, the mint mark didn't make it onto the coin. It's like that one time I ordered a pizza and forgot to ask for extra cheese, and then, bam, no extra cheese. Sometimes, mistakes create something even better. Now, how does something like this happen? Well, mint marks are supposed to be added to coins to indicate which mint facility produced them. The 1981 Lincoln penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but for some reason, whether it was a glitch in the system or just a fluke of fate, these pennies came out looking like they had a serious identity crisis. And here's where it gets interesting: a few of these no mint mark pennies made their way into circulation, and now they're worth a ton of money. We're talking $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right, your loose change could be worth a lot more than just a couple of cents. Now, if you're thinking, well, I have one of those. I bet it's worth a ton of money, let me hit you with a little reality check. The 1981 no mint mark penny is rare, but it's not the only one. There were several thousand made, so just having one doesn't automatically mean you're going to retire early and buy a yacht. But here's the kicker: to find one that's worth $1.3 million, it has to be in mint condition, pun totally intended. We're talking about pennies that look as pristine as the day they were made. No scratches, no discoloration, basically, a coin that looks like it was never touched by human hands. Yeah, I know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but hey, stranger things have happened. So, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a yard sale, because, let's be honest, that's where all the best coin hunting happens, and I saw a jar full of pennies. The guy was asking 50 cents for the jar, and I thought, well, that's a steal. I mean, who doesn't love digging through a jar of pennies, right? It's like treasure hunting, but for adults. So, I picked it up, took it home, and spent way too much time looking through each penny with a magnifying glass. I didn't find anything that could make me a millionaire, but I did find a 1998 penny with a weird little mark. Not quite a mint mark, but close enough to make me think, maybe this is worth something. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But that didn't stop me from feeling like an Indiana Jones of pennies for a solid 20 minutes. The point is, I get it. The excitement is real. Alright, back to business. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1981 penny is a no mint mark beauty worth $1.3 million? First, take a good look at it. If you don't see any mint mark, it's a start. But remember, there's more to it. You'll want to check its condition. If it's got that shiny, fresh from the mint look, you might be onto something special. The value of these pennies goes way up when they're in perfect condition, so if yours is looking a little worse for wear, don't get your hopes up too much. But hey, it's still a cool piece of coin history. Now, I know you're probably itching to run to your coin jar and see if you have a 1981 no mint mark penny hiding in there, but before you go diving in, let me leave you with a little piece of advice: if you think you found a rare coin, get it professionally appraised. I know, It's easy to get excited and think every coin you find could be worth millions, but unless you're sure, it's worth taking that extra step. Plus, you don't want to be the person who throws away a $1.3 million penny thinking it's just another rusty old coin. Believe me, I've learned the hard way. So, here's the deal: if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1981 no mint mark penny, or if you want more tips on how to find hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on all the other awesome coin tips I've got in store for you. Who knows? You might find the next big thing, and when you do, you'll be glad you're in the coin club. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting, folks. And don't forget, keep an eye on those pennies. They might just make you rich. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at the pennies jingling in your pocket and wondered, could one of these be worth more than $1 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? But let me tell you, today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that might just make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, yeah, sure, another wild goose chase, stick around because I'm going to break it all down for you: what makes this penny so special, how to spot it, and why collectors are ready to pay a jaw-dropping $1.2 million for it. Plus, I've got a funny little story about my own coin hunting adventure that'll show you why you should always check your change. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's uncover the hidden fortune that could be sitting right under your nose, or in your couch cushions. Let's rewind to 1982 for a second. The early 80s were a wild time. Big hair, neon clothes, and for the US Mint, a big decision: switching the composition of pennies from 95% copper to a zinc core with just a thin copper coating. Why? Copper was getting expensive, and the mint wanted to save some serious cash, but here's where it gets interesting. During this transition, a few pennies were struck using the wrong metal, or as collectors call them, off-metal errors. Now, combine that with the fact that these coins were made without a mint mark, and you've got a recipe for a rare and valuable collectible. So, what does no mint mark mean? Simply put, it means the coin wasn't stamped with a letter indicating where it was minted, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Most 1982 pennies have a mint mark. But a few don't. And those few? Jackpot. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you're sorting through your loose change, and you spot a 1982 penny. You give it a closer look, and there it is, no mint mark. Suddenly, your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty, and you're wondering if you've just hit the coin collector lottery. But hold on. Before you start planning your dream vacation or buying a yacht, let's talk about how to confirm it's the real deal. First, you'll want to weigh the penny. Authentic 1982 no mint mark pennies struck on the wrong metal should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's lighter, around 2.5 grams, then it's made of zinc and isn't the rare one we're hunting for. You'll need a small digital scale for this. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Next, give it a once-over for condition. Coins in pristine condition, or mint state, are the ones fetching top dollar. If it's scratched, dinged, or has a suspicious greenish tint looking at you, pocket lint, it might not be worth as much. Okay, now for the million-dollar question: why is this coin worth so much? It all comes down to rarity. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny is like the unicorn of coins, super rare and highly sought after by collectors. And when demand outweighs supply, prices skyrocket. Let me share a quick story. A few years back, I was at my grandma's house helping her sort through old jars of coins. She'd been tossing change into these jars for decades. I wasn't expecting much, mostly dusty nickels and the occasional wheat penny. But then, I spotted it, a shiny 1982 penny with no mint mark. I froze. My inner coin nerd kicked in, and I started examining it like a detective at a crime scene. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the rare one. But the thrill of that moment? Priceless. It made me realize how easy it is to overlook potential treasures in plain sight. So, what's the moral of the story? Always check your change. Whether it's a 1982 no-mint mark penny or another rare coin, you never know what you might find. And hey, even if you don't strike it rich, coin collecting is a fun and fascinating hobby that connects us to history in the coolest way. Before we wrap up, I've got a challenge for you. Grab a handful of coins and start looking for that 1982 no-mint mark penny. If you find one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and fascinating stories coming your way to help you uncover treasures in your spare change. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious minds alike? I have a burning question for you. Have you ever stared at a penny in your pocket and thought, what if this little guy was worth a lot of money? Yeah, I know, it sounds a little crazy, but stick with me here because today, we're diving into a penny that's definitely not your average copper coin, the 2009 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? It could be worth a whopping $1.8 million. I know, you're probably thinking, a penny? Really? But trust me, you'll want to keep watching because this coin story is wild, and it could have you checking your pocket change in a whole new light. Alright, so let's start with the basics. Most of the pennies you come across will either have a D mint mark if they were minted in Denver, or a P for Philadelphia. But the 2009 no mint mark penny? That's a mystery. It's a rare, quirky coin that might just be the reason you should start digging through your change. Now, before you get all excited and run off to find your penny jar, let's talk about why this particular coin could actually fetch a staggering $1.8 million. Back in 2009. The U.S. Mint decided to do something special for Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday. They created a series of 4 new reverse designs to celebrate his life and legacy. And it's pretty cool. One of them was the Lincoln log cabin design, which you'll find on the reverse of the 2009 penny. It's got that rustic charm, super fitting for a man who started life in a log cabin himself, right? But here's the kicker. A small batch of these 2009 pennies didn't get the mint mark. Why? Well, it's not entirely clear. Some say it was a mistake, while others think it was a production error during the minting process. Whatever the reason, it happened. And because of that, the 2009 no mint mark penny is extremely rare. So rare, in fact, that one of these pennies was sold at auction for an eye-watering $1.8 million. Yes, you heard me right. A single penny, worth more than your entire Netflix subscription bill for life. And I know some of you have been subscribed for years. Seriously, if I had known a penny could make me a millionaire, I would have been looking for these things in every change jar I could find when I was a kid. But let's be real here, not all 2009 no mint mark pennies are worth millions. So what's the catch? What makes the ones that are worth so much different from the average penny sitting in your pocket right now? Well, you've got to make sure it's the right kind of 2009 penny. The minting mistake that made these pennies so valuable comes down to a few things: the quality of the coin, the rarity of its specific type, and the condition it's in. You're not going to find this kind of value in every single 2009 penny, and that's where the story gets interesting. The ones that really hit the jackpot are usually in uncirculated condition, meaning they haven't been passed around in pockets or tossed into the change drawer for years. You'll want one that's got sharp details, clean surfaces, and, of course, that glaring lack of a mint mark. Now, don't be too bummed if you don't have a $1.8 million penny in your piggy bank. Most of the 2009 no mint mark pennies will be worth somewhere in the $10 to $50 range, depending on their condition. But still, that's pretty sweet for a coin that most people think is just pocket change, right? Oh, and here's a funny story. I once thought I had a rare coin when I found an old penny in my change jar that looked a little off. I thought I struck gold. I had that thing on display for weeks, convinced I'd just discovered my ticket to fortune. Turns out, it was just a regular old penny that had been in the washer too many times. So, yeah, lesson learned. Don't get too excited over a scratched-up penny. Check your coins carefully, but here's a tip that can save you some serious time and effort when hunting for valuable coins. always check the details. Whether it's a mint mark or an error in the design, those tiny little differences can make a big difference in value. So, when you're sifting through your collection, remember, if it's got no mint mark and it's from 2009, double check. You never know if you're sitting on a hidden treasure. Alright, now you know the scoop on the 2009 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the little coin that could turn you into a millionaire. If you're heading off to check your coin jars or hit up some coin shops, I wish you all the luck in the world. And hey, if you do find one of these rare gems, make sure to let me know. I'd love to hear your story. Before I go, though, I want to leave you with a quick tip. If you're serious about finding more coins worth money, subscribe to my channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on another coin tip or a juicy story. There's more out there than just pennies, and I'm here to help you find them. So go ahead, hit that like button if you're feeling lucky, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy hunting, coin collectors!